The tension between the Black and Latino community needs to stop. And we need to be the generation to stop it. Anti-Blackness exists in our community. We know this. Anti-Blackness also exists within the Black community itself.
And your vote shows it. It shows it. When 40, 50, 60, 70% of you vote and ignore the Black population, you're telling us you don't need us. You're telling us you don't need us. When you say vote for Democrat no matter who because the opposition is worse, it's not worse for us. It's not. The opposition that you guys are just now realizing you have is the same opposition that we've had this entire time. And when I say this entire time, I mean since the day someone first wrote down the words United States of America.
Let me tell you something. The majority of Democratic voters in Dallas County, Texas, can chew my underwear. You all said that you needed a fighter, you needed someone with experience, you needed someone that was going to fight against this horrid presidential administration. You had Jasmine Crockett, a civil rights lawyer and a U.S. representative that kept her foot on Trump's neck all this time.
So Jasmine Crockett lost the Democratic primary election last night, and I can't say that I am surprised. I made a video last year. I was outside in the sunshine talking about how problematic Jasmine Crockett was. Not because she was a woman, not because she was a Black woman, but it was her methods, right? I saw the flaws, right? And it led to her losing the election. You can't cry racism. You can't do that. Not in this instance. You can't cry misogyny. You can't do that, right? You lost, you being Jasmine Crockett, you lost because your methods did not work. Yeah, you had the viral moment talking about the woman's body. Yeah, you tried all the antics of dancing. You tried all the antics of constantly calling out President Trump, especially out of his name. It was problematic. But here's another thing that nobody's talking about. You are a middle-aged Black woman who is not married with no children. You didn't give a good presentation along with flawed methods. You want to know why I consider President Barack Obama the greatest Democratic president ever is because he had the packaging correct, right? The presentation was pristine. He was married to a Black woman. They had beautiful Black children. Regardless of his policies, a lot that I didn't agree with, right? However, this is not to attack him as a president, but the overall packaging of him as president, second to none. Second to none. You see, the very party that you endorse, they specialize on presentation. It's all symbolism. But you didn't even get that right. And again, this is not me coming at you because I don't like you. This is not me coming from that angle. This is me coming at you because I saw your methods. They were flawed. They didn't work. But here's another issue, right? On Twitter, X, a lot of people are now highlighting the demographics of the Black community, not just in Texas, but in America as a whole. Back in January, you can go back in my videos, I made a video highlighting how the Black community were now the minorities of the minority in this country. And now you have a lot of people highlighting that. Once again, I'm not wrong, I'm just early. Let me put on my Black Power hat real quick. You know, I got my do-rag on, so there you go. I have read the autobiography of Malcolm X by Alex Haley, fantastic read. I have read Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington, fantastic read. I have read The Assassination of Fred Hampton, How to Kill a Black Panther, fantastic read. I have read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, fantastic read. These are just some of the books in my library that I have read throughout the past few years. And one of the things that I have learned as a Black man that these men taught me, right, especially Malcolm X and Fred Hampton, who I hold in high regard. Those two men have some of the biggest impacts on my life. But you have to, and they taught me through reading about their lives, it taught me how to analyze situations and problems affecting the Black community and how to create a solution. You want to know why they were killed? is because they did not only highlight the issues that affected Black Americans, but they highlighted the issues that affected humans in general. You see, Malcolm X wasn't a problem until he got cool with United Nations when he went to Mecca, saying, you know what's going on in America affecting my community is not just a racial issue, not just a civil issue, it's a human rights issue. The same thing with Fred Hampton, right? That's why he came up with the Rainbow Coalition. But there's a saying in the art of war that I live by to this day, and it says, do not repeat the tactics that have gained you one victory, but let your methods be regulated by the infinite variety of circumstances. In other words, do not operate in insanity. The Bible tells us, be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. The Bible is telling you to be wise as the very entity that deceived and put mankind in the very position that we are in now. Be wise as that entity, but still be harmless as a dove. What is my point? My point is this. Black community, you need to wake up, all right? One of the flaws in Jasmine Crockett's methods was she kept hollering white supremacy. You kept pointing the finger instead of looking at the issues that really affected the Black community. This is why I talked about us operating in abortion. Since 1975 or 1971, over 20 million Black babies have been aborted. That's a problem. Over 60% of our children grow up in single-parent homes. That is a problem. We have an obesity epidemic, not just in America, but in the Black community as a whole. That is a problem. The list goes on and on and on. You know what the Democratic Party showed us or told us with all these protests about ICE? They told you the quiet part out loud. They wanted you to go out here advocating for illegal migrants. Why? Because they know that Black folks are now the minority of the minorities. Hispanic and Asian combined in this country make up 26% of the population now in America, while Black Americans stay at 13%. So what did they tell you? They told you, go out here and advocate for our new voting power. They told you the quiet part out loud. When they had you out here advocating for Planned Parenthood, they were telling you the quiet part out loud again. We know that Black people are killing their babies in the womb, which is going to continue to affect their population in this country. We want you to continue to advocate for that. So many people thought I was being anti-white when I said that President Trump will win a second term. You want to know why? Because I saw the writing on the wall with America losing its power and influence. If you say that America operates in white supremacy, why not think as a white supremacist? If you see the fact that we were losing influence globally, financially, economically, physically, mentally, education-wise, we were losing so much that the so-called white supremacists realized that, wait a minute, if we don't grab hold of this, we are going to lose our status as the supreme power in the world. So we need to do what is necessary to get somebody in office that is going to help reestablish the power and the influence that got us to where we are right now. Again, be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove. You see, the black community, we holler white supremacy so much that we don't even think like the supposed white supremacists that we say have us bound in America. See, I sound like Fred Hampton and I sound like Malcolm X. We are losing, Black folks. We are losing. So Jasmine Crockett, go back, reevaluate. Go get married to a Black man. Let a Black man come in, sweep you off your feet, make you his bride. Have beautiful Black babies. You need to revise your message, okay? And get back on the scene, because you do have the grit to be an effective force in Congress. But you gotta reevaluate, okay? Because I want to see, we need more young voices in Congress, and not just young voices, young Black voices. It's time for the Maxine Waters to get out. It's time for the Al Greens to get out, okay? But if you're going to be effective in Congress, you need to present a polished presentation. You need to present a polished message, okay? Take notes from Barack Obama in his presentation, not his policies so much, okay? You guys have a great day. I love you. But Black folks, we got to wake up. I'm trying to give y'all the warning. Like, once again, I'm not wrong. I'm just early. And this is not me being arrogant. This is what it is. Okay? I love you.
The people who voted for him in the largest numbers were Hispanic and Latino voters, and that's totally fine. Love that for y'all. Here's the thing. Nobody's shocked that Jasmine didn't win the Democratic primary in Texas. Like, nobody's shocked. Disappointed, but not shocked. But here's the thing. Since the Latino voters came out in mass numbers, that mean that y'all can handle everything on the campaign. Y'all want y'all boy to be in there. All black folks got to do now is show up in November, and black folks been doing that anyways. Black folks been showing up in massive and record-breaking numbers anyways when they come out to the midterm and the overall general elections. So all we got to do is show up. But now all that campaigning, boots on the ground, the same shit that Jasmine has been doing for the past 6 years, ever since 2020, that's on y'all boy now. So I hope Hispanic and Latino voters are ready to get boots on the ground and do what need to be done to get the Republicans who are on the fence and the independents who are on the fence to come on over to the Democratic side in November and vote Democrat in November. That just means that y'all took the pressure off of black folks, and thank God y'all did for once. I hope my girl Jasmine go on the best vacation and put her feet in some sand and get her a nice little mimosa.
So this showed up in my comments on another app. And you know what? I'm going to address it. And I'm going to address it for everybody, because it's a whole lot of bodies, I'm sure, that are wondering, what the fuck am I thinking? And I'm going to tell you, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm black. And I'm pragmatic. I am not concerned with voting blue no matter who. I'm goddamn sure not going to vote for maggots. So that means I am stuck here. My people are stuck here. Our people are stuck here. And you are just as disgusted with this Democratic Party as we are. And I'm going to keep talking about how we can send a message in Texas. Black voters, vote for harm reduction. I'm voting for harm reduction. I'm voting for Gina Hinojosa for governor. You damn right I am. I'm voting for harm reduction. I'm also going to not vote for Black Lives, because I don't care what anybody else says. James Tallarico is not good for Black lives, and James Tallarico is not giving it any effort whatsoever to find out why he's not good or meet us anywhere. I have sat in these rooms with these politicians, with you, these candidates, with you, making promises. We all joked about them not ever being able to fucking keep. And I'm tired of it. The fucking Texas Democratic Party uses black voters as ATMs. And they tell us to wait our turn. This party is taking aim at black women. We don't owe them shit. And they have misused us, mistreated us for so long. They expect to continue doing it. And then when we say we are going to take a stand, they tell us we need to be concerned about unifying. At the root of this, it was Jasmine Crockett, but it could have been any one of us, any black person. At the root of this, the core of them chose not to vote for a black candidate because a black candidate was not appealing to racist Republicans. They turned on us to appeal to our oppressors. And that sick decision that they made, it affects us, the ripple effect, right down to our ability to get funding for future candidates. Why would these donors invest in black candidates in Texas when they already know what Texas is going to do? The ripple effect is huge. And I'm tired. We are tired. And however you want to take a stand, you take a stand. I choose direct action that hits fucking hard. What's the difference between a white moderate and a maggot? Let me know when you have an answer.
Why aren't black people helping Latinos riot against ICE in LA? Let's talk about it. There are 3 types of black people who are sitting these protests out. Number 1, the black Trump supporter who voted for deportations. Number 2, the Kamala Harris supporter who voted overwhelmingly for Kamala and then saw that Latinos overwhelmingly voted for Trump and they're like, y'all need our help now? Oh, hell no. And number 3, the older black people who are like, what are y'all up to? Oh, and there might be one other type of black person too. The kind of black person that hears something like this.
I don't think black people have a right to tell white people or Hispanics what they can and cannot say. And that means if a black person wants to use the N-word, that means a white person also can use the N-word, because all lives matter, not just Black Lives Matter. So with that said, we need to stop cancel culture. It is anti-American. It is anti-free speech. And if you can say the N-word, so can I, whether you like it or not. It doesn't affect your freedom, but you're sure affecting mine by telling me that I can't say it because I'm not black. So make the N-word great again.
Okay, well, how about we make ICE great again too, bitch? It's a little weird that not only are Latinos pressed, but white folks are asking, why aren't black people out there protesting? Y'all usually ask, why are we protesting? It's almost as weird as this roll off full of rocks that just so happen to be right in LA, right where the riots are, all cut off evenly, no construction around, just so happen to be there so people can start throwing them. Is that why y'all want black people out there? So y'all can get staged video footage to roll on cable news all night long showing unity and violence against Trump? Stop trying to use us. And all I keep hearing is blacks and browns, we gotta stick together. Blacks and Latinos, we're brothers, we're one. Okay, well, I'm gonna need you to have that outlook for more than just rioting and violence. I'm gonna need you to have that in the job market too, because blacks can't get a job in LA. Latinos hire Latinos, whites hire Latinos. If you don't come to LA already in a job that moved you to LA, or you own your own business, you're not working in LA. You know who's working in LA? All the people that they want us to protest to come here. So black people, the next time you're asked why aren't you out there protesting with Palestinians or with illegal immigrants, just let them know you put in the same amount of effort that they put in to get black reparations.
Racism in the Latino community is absolutely horrendous. When I was a sophomore in high school, I was introduced to this Salvadorian girl by one of my friends. The school that I went to for a short period of time, it was predominantly Black, Hispanic, and Latino, with Hispanic and Latino being the majority. When I first met her, she had long brown hair, big brown eyes, and red rosy cheeks. I took a liking to her. We're heading into winter break and we decided to get to know each other during that time. We talked pretty much every day. We went on a few dates. It was a great experience. During this time, we were sharing so much about each other's culture. She was telling me all about El Salvador and Salvadoran culture. I was telling her more about black culture that she didn't know about. Despite our different races and backgrounds and how heavily divided our school was, we still had a good relationship. After winter break, her and I decided that in the future, we were going to keep our relationship on the down low. Only close friends will know about our relationship. At the time, I did not understand why we even did this in the first place. Why is it such a problem and a nuisance to keep our relationship a secret from everybody else? What's also strange to me is her family allows her to be in a relationship. However, she also wanted to keep that from her parents as well. Like I said, I didn't understand why, but I went along with it anyway. At this time, this was one of the most healthiest relationships I've ever been in because she genuinely cared about me and my well-being, and the connection was astronomical. A few months that felt like days has passed, and then the worst has finally come. Our relationship has spread it all across the school, and in the beginning, people responded with positive feedback. Until the next day, an abundant amount of Hispanic and Latinos in the community was very displeased and unsatisfied with my relationship with her. She kept getting threats of comments of people saying that she should not be dating a black man. He is black. You should not be dating her. You should be dating an Hispanic man. You should be dating a Latino man. At the time, she did the best she could to fight for me, her, and our relationship. However, in the end, she was suffering from too much mental and emotional pain. Eventually, some people in the Latino community went out of their way to contact her mother to tell her that she is dating a black man. As it turns out, despite her wanting to be in a relationship with me, her family was very racist and discriminative towards black people. Her family was comparing me to black stereotypes, ghetto, hood rat, a thief, made some other comments like black people are beneath us, they are third rate, you shouldn't be stooping so low to date someone like that. Apparently, a lot of the people in the Latino community who showed disinterest in our relationship thought and felt the same way, but more on colorism. My skin complexion was a threat and a problem to them because they did not like me dating another Latina woman. There were some other Latino men who was very jealous of the fact that I was dating someone like her. With all due respect, she is very attractive, especially with the school that we went to. Her and I was forced to break up and we discontinued our relationship. But unfortunately, it gets worse. There was these two Latina men who was very angry of the fact that I was dating her to begin with, and they wanted to fight me. At the time, I lacked combat skills and experience, and these two Latino guys who wanted to fight me were boxers. I was put at a major disadvantage, but despite this, I didn't really have a choice because there was honor and pride on the line. Despite me knowing for an absolute fact that I couldn't win against these two massive boxers, I still showed up anyway. And I fought, I got my ass beat, and I lost. Granted, my Salvadorian girlfriend at the time had no idea about any of this until I told her afterwards. After I went home looking like a complete mess and taking a very honorable ass whooping, I might add, my uncle was there and he said to me, "Did you win?" And I said, "No." And then he said, "Did you learn something from this?" Absolutely. At that moment in time, after taking a very honorable ass whooping, I decided to learn how to fight myself. A year later, I took up Taekwondo, Kung Fu, and boxing. I still do it to this day, but this is just one of those stories that, once again, I've faced through a lot of colorism and racism, especially when it comes to my relationships and friendships. And you know what? Despite that relationship ending and getting my ass beat by two intermediate boxers, one thing I can say for sure about myself, at least I wasn't a bitch. But why bring this up now? One is because it's one of the next stories I wanted to share with you, and two, I have been seeing so many stories from so many black women, especially brown and dark-skinned women and men, sharing their experiences of racism and colorism from the Latino and Hispanic communities. And my people being constantly shamed and rejected because of our skin tone, because we are the black people. Being constantly rejected and called ugly and inferior because of our skin tones is absolutely insufferable, and it can cause self-hatred within ourselves. So, to all of my beautiful melanated black people, especially the black women, please understand me. You are God's and Mother Nature's greatest accomplishment and greatest creation. You are the black pearl, the onyx crystal that shines brightly when the sun radiates off of your skin. From the way your body touches the sand and the water that slides off of your skin, there is nothing more beautiful than that. From your hair to your eyes and your skin tone to your wisdom and your nurturing, you are the greatest reflection of Mother Nature itself. You are absolutely fruitful, and your potential in love is insurmountable compared to anyone and anything else. Understand me. Do not let anyone destroy your self-love or to strip you away of your blackness. Understand that you are the greatest that has ever lived. You hold values and attributes that even our ancient African goddess themselves has passed on to you. So please understand me when I say this. You are meant to be gods and goddesses. So become one. That's all I have to say on the matter. It's Onyx, and I'll see you next time.
I'm going to tell you right now, you're absolutely kidding yourself if you think James Tallarico is going to win the general election in Texas. You are honestly kidding yourself because of how many voters were disenfranchised when he won over Crockett, who, by the way, looking at their resume, Jasmine Crockett had the better resume. She had more experience. The fact of the matter is, when it comes down to it, she had 45% of the vote. He had 52% of the vote. Do you see how that is like literally split? And you already have a lot of the voters in Texas that are saying they're not going to support him in the general election. But see, this is what you would have seen had Jasmine Crockett won. the people that voted for James Tallarico would have still voted for Crockett. That would have gave her a stronger chance in the general election. But because everyone had to throw their support for the white Christian man, you disenfranchised voters and you costed yourself the election because you allowed the party to be split. Because this is the thing. Most of your black voters supported Jasmine. Most of your white and Hispanic supported Tallarico. Why is that? Come on now. And yet the Democrats in that state have the audacity to say that we're not racist. Bullshit. You set the ceiling. Because how many videos have we all seen of people talking about, I really like Jasmine, but I just couldn't vote for her because I don't think she would win in the general election. Because Tallarico is a white Christian man. He might be able to flip some of the independent and Republican voters. Bullshit. He might flip a few independents. But the Republicans are always going to support the Republican Party. That's what you fucking idiots don't understand. These motherfuckers will pour out in droves in the general election to support the Republican candidate. But you have just split the fucking party for the Democratic candidate in that state. And if you think that he's going to win, I will be here to tell you, I told you so come November. Because I know, I see it. I would have felt the same way if I lived in Texas. I probably wouldn't have voted in the general election either. I do not think James Tallarico won based on merit. Because it wasn't based on merit. It come down to gender and the color of his skin. And for him to actually accept the nomination, knowing that, I couldn't. I wouldn't. I could not in good faith accept a nomination that I know I only won because of the color of my skin and because I was a man. I couldn't. So, and the fact that he can, that shows a character flaw right there. The fact that he didn't come out and actually say, don't vote for me because I'm a white man. Vote for me because of my merit. Who you think has more merit? That showed all you needed to show right then and there. Because he knew it was going to play a part in this election. But he wasn't willing to address it. Because he needed it to help him. And anybody who says otherwise, you're just fucking delusional. Anyways, have the fucking day you deserve.
Now, wait a minute. The same people that were dragging Jasmine Crockett's voters all week, all of a sudden are saying, we need your vote. We need to come together. Let's talk about it. Because I feel like for days, people were on here literally calling Jasmine ghetto and some of the most heinous things. And her supporters like emotionally unserious, dramatic, and all sorts of things, race baiting. But people were saying that we were the problem and we didn't understand politics and that we needed to fall in line. But now that Tallarico won the primary, suddenly everybody's saying, we need to unite. Oh, we need to unite. Oh, now Jasmine Crockett voters matter. Okay? Now the black voter matters. Because a minute ago, y'all were telling people to shut up and get in line for whoever the party picks. But here's the part that nobody wants to talk about. Both Jasmine Crockett and Tallarico have acknowledged their issue with the voter suppression in Dallas. So my question is very, very simple. If someone benefits from voter suppression and they won't advocate for justice around that because it helped them win, how are you going to advocate for us in the Senate? Because a senator's job is literally to advocate for their constituents. That means fighting for fair elections. That means speaking up when something isn't right. That means protecting the voters. So if you can't speak up about suppression when it happens in your own race, why should people believe you'll fight for them in Washington? You will fold like a cheap beach chair. But that's the real question. I want you to sit with that and ask yourself that. And let's be honest about something else. Black voters, especially Black women voters, has been the most consistent voter base for the Democratic Party. But somehow we're always told, show up, vote, save democracy. And then after the election, our issues go to the back of the list. So now when people say, just vote for a Democrat, people are finally asking a different question. What have they actually done to earn that vote? Because a vote is not an entitlement. It's supposed to be earned. And that idea that people owe a vote just because someone has Democrat next to their name, that's exactly why nothing has ever changed. If politicians know the vote is automatic, they have no reason to listen. So if someone says Black voters don't owe anyone their vote, they're not being rude and they're not being divisive. They're asking for accountability. And honestly, it should have happened a long time ago.
So yes, we need a fighter. And I was so ready to vote for Jasmine Crockett because I love her. But I voted for Tallarico because we need somebody who...
And these are the same people you want me to believe have found the error in their ways or are no longer going to be racist and uphold white supremacy tactics? When they say they voted for James Tallarico because they think he could win, they're saying they don't think enough white people and all these other people are going to be able to vote for a Black woman, not knowing that they are upholding white supremacy with that thought process. We are in 2026. We have seen a Black president. We have seen a woman almost win to be president. Why do you think Jasmine Crockett can't win in Texas? It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy with these people. They say, you know, I'm progressive. I'm not like that. But when push comes to shove or time comes to show that you aren't, you're like, well, there's no way that could actually possibly win. Not knowing Jasmine Crockett is winning in the polls. Not knowing that Republicans have been spinning ways to campaign against Jasmine Crockett because they are worried. But they want you guys to uphold white supremacy. They want you guys to be scared to vote for a strong Black woman. They want you guys to think, oh, nobody will vote for her because then they actually win because James Tallarico is a mediocre candidate and nobody's actually going to vote for him.
So Texans put on their cowboy boots and gave Jasmine Crockett a good swift boot to the ass today. Several months ago, she was kicked out of the House and then she decided to run for Senate. And this is what I don't get. You got an education that's reportedly worth about $1 million, literally. And I don't know what made her think that she could even win the Senate when they didn't even want her in the House. I mean, come on, you can do better than that, girl. Let me talk to you in layman's terms, which the language that you use that you understand. Honey, I don't know what you was thinking, because if you got kicked out the House, you ought to know that they don't want you in the Senate, honey, okay? You can take your wig and your eyelashes and you can go on now. You done got your little money from the Democrat Party and the Soros Foundation for talking your shit about Orange Man bad and saying all you can say about Republicans. They didn't got their entertainment out you, girl. Now they done with your ass. Okay? Because the Democrat Party do not give a damn about you. They will make a fool out of you. And that's exactly what they did. They allowed you to get all that airtime to talk your shit about Republicans and Trump. And everybody thought that was cute. Girl, she telling it like it is, girl. She be telling Trump out. She told them this. She told them, girl. Meanwhile, you ain't did a goddamn thing to help the area that you were over. But you was entertaining, though. You know how them slave owners had entertainers, you know, when they had, you know, feasts and parties and stuff, they call they little, what people like to call people that support Trump tap dancers. That's actually what you are, supporting a party that does not work in the best interest of your people. They will allow illegal immigrants to come over here and get ahead of your own people. And you want to talk about Republicans and Trump? You ran against a Democrat. Should I say. This was a Democrat primary, okay? And you lost. You weren't running against the Republicans. Republicans wanted you because that would have been just a clear victory for them in the midterms. So we were rooting for you. It was your own party that did not want you. And I saw people saying, I love Crockett, you know, I really love her. But I'm going to vote for Tallarico because he has a better chance of winning. I wonder why. Because you're entertainment, baby. You're not business, okay?
Jasmine Crockett thought that the Latino community was going to support her. It's because she's for illegal immigration. But she don't know that a lot of them Latinos in Texas are American citizens. You know, some come across the border, but the American Latinos ain't for illegal immigration. They don't want that burden of that on their community. You know? They vote overwhelmingly for her opponent. And that's why she lost the election. Because she didn't get the Latino vote. So what you thought you was for, and what you thought was going to work for you didn't work for you. Democrats, that's a losing strategy. The illegal stuff y'all doing with the immigrants. It's a losing strategy.
The Latino and Black communities have always been like this, and we should continue staying like that.